guys, welcome back to another vlog on the channel. This is a crazy video. Thank you for clicking it, and you're going to be pretty stoked that you did. The 640 straddle gets put on in this video. I myself put the largest straddle I've ever done in my entire life. Big 5K buy-in coming your way. Let's see what we can run it up to. This is TCH Houston. The next video is going to be my meetup game. We're going to have 4, 5, 6 tables of Texas Degenerates. Make sure you're subscribed if you are not already. Go check out my hat. The link is down in the description, and let's get right into this sick live stream. 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, 163, 26, 40 coming your way. Let's go. All right, first hand of the night here in this crazy live stream. We pick up pocket kings, and Wes has the $80 straddle on. So in this hand, it's 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, and I'm gonna come in for a standard raise. I'm gonna be out of position. I decide to size it up to 4x. Wes makes a standard fold, and just like that, first hand of the night in the books. But just setting the tone early, there's going to be a lot of straddles in this game, so the bet sizing pre-flop is going to get pretty big. In this next hand, I find myself in the $10 blind. I look down at pocket eights and raise it up to $135 over the $40 straddle from Wes. Oh Wow is in the $20 blind. He picks up a premium king queen of diamonds and decides to 3-bet me to $370. I think that's pretty normal, good sizing from him, and Wes gets out of the way. Back over to me. I'm going to defend the pocket ochos, the snowman here, and we're going to battle in a coin flip, which comes 10, 7, 3 rainbow. I could have a small leading range on this board. It's going to connect a little bit better with my 7s and 10s and 3s, but I decide to check and flow, which is probably the most preferable line, and Oh Wow goes for a C-bet of $275. Now, interesting point here, we could go for a check raise. Like I said, we're going to have a lot more of those sets than he will. I also have 2 8s in my hand, which means it's pretty unlikely he has 8, 9. So yeah, check raise here would make a lot of sense, but definitely not a fold. I decide to put in the call, and we see the worst turn card, the king of clubs. Oh Wow picks up top pair. I check it over to him. I know this is a bad card for my range. Great card for him, and he's going to bet it. Let's see how large he goes. He goes around 2/3 the size of the pot. Pretty good sizing from him. He's going to want to charge against any of those draws. Additionally, the clubs pick up on the turn. $725 is the price to call. I'm not a fish though. I'm not going to put it in with the 8s, knowing the king is great for him. Even if I'm ahead here and he has a hand like ace queen, he's probably just going to rep the river, and I'm going to be in a tough spot. So easy fold for me. So even though we're losing that 2K pot, we're moving along swimmingly into the next hand of the night, where we pick up the ladies, and I decide to raise it up to $125. I'm on the hijack, and Wes is on the button and decides to click it back over to me to the tune of $300. King queen offsuit is a good hand to do it with. However, I should be spicing in some 4-bets from time to time. This isn't one of those times. I decide just to call here, and we are going heads up out of position to a flop, which comes ace high, which really isn't great when you have pocket queens. Wes knows this, so when I check it over to him, he's going to go for a C-bet. I expect him to go around $300, and that's exactly what he decides to do. With queens here, I can't be folding to just one bet. I got to see what happens on the turn, so I toss in 3 black chips, and we are off to the turn, which comes the queen of spades. Bang! We turn the set. I don't see any point in leading out here. If he has a strong ace, like ace king, ace jack, something like that, got to check it over to him. He's going to bet it. Leading out here would just look way too strong. Additionally, if he has kings or jacks, leading out is just going to get him to fold. So I check it over in flow, not letting him have any indication that I just made a set on the turn. And with king queen offsuit, he makes a great check behind, just taking his showdown value here. And we see the deuce of clubs peel off on the river. When he checks back the turn, like I said, I think he's going to try to take his hand to showdown. What does that mean? I think he's either way ahead of hands like 10s or 9s that I could have, or he's way behind of all my aces. So I think if I check it over to him, he's going to make a smart check back. For that reason, I can't be checking my set. It's just way too strong. Got to get value, see if I can get paid off by a weak ace or maybe a strong queen like he has. I decide on a bet of $1,000, and unfortunately though, Wes makes a great fold here. Still, I lost a 2K pot. I'm winning a 2K pot. We're heading in the right direction. Back up to around even, I look down at the pocket jacks, and I decide to raise it up to $80. Jerry is in the $20 blind, and he has some evil intentions here with the king deuce offsuit. He represents Texas poker well. They're action, they're splashy, just really fun players to play with, and he raises it up to $275. When the action's back over to me, I decide to put in the call. Little side note here, if I knew Wes and Jerry were 3-betting me a little bit lighter than usual, okay, maybe a lot lighter with king deuce off, I definitely would have been 4-betting this spot. But this is the first time TCH Live ran a live stream in Houston, so I had no prior notice of how these players played. That being said, a 4-bet here would have been great. Instead, I just call, and we are going off to the flop, which comes queen high. Obviously not the best board for jacks, and overcard out there is not a welcome sight. But when Jerry goes for a c-bet, I can't be folding, like I said, to 1-bet. So I decide to toss in that 275 and see what the turn card brings in. The turn is the 3 of spades, so maybe he picks up a draw with ace deuce of spades, ace 4 of spades, or he just has me crushed with a hand like king queen, ace queen, queen jack. If he slows down here, I'm probably going to check and see what he does on the river. If that happens and he bets the river, I'd snap him off and try to pick off a lot of his bluffs. But that's not going to happen. He decides to bet out for $850. Now think about this in your shoes. What would you do here if you're facing a 3-bet pre-flop, a bet on the flop, and now a heavy bet on the turn? You have jacks and there's an overcard. Not too many draws, I guess. There's 6, 8, and now the spade draw. But yeah, just not a great spot to have pocket jacks. Usually when a player bets big on a flop and turn, they're going to continue large on the river, and their bet sizing is indicative of how likely they are to do that. For instance, if he went small here for like 4 or 450, I think it's a little bit more likely he could check on the river. But 850 into a pot not much larger, I think he's going to follow through on the river. And king deuce offsuit, I think if I was to call here, I don't think he's betting 850 just to give up on the river. So I make a fold in this spot. I know I folded the best hand. I was going to win this 9 out of every 10 times. But you just can't see the other opponent's cards. And yeah, in the future, 4-betting this preflop would have been the move. Instead, we are losing this 2K pot against Jerry. Nice hand, sir. All right, this next hand is a fun one. I'm in the +1 position with king 10 offsuit. My king doesn't initially read on the RFID, but I assure you it is king 10 offsuit. It'll pick up later in this hand. I decide to come in for a raise of $465. Why $465, you might ask? Well, there's a ton of straddles on, so I got to go large here, and I'm going to be out of position against the opponents to my left, who just happen to be crazy action players. So I raise it up to $465, just trying to take down some of that dead money, but that's not to be. Oh wow and Wes both put in the call. We are going 3 ways out of position to a $1,500 pot, and we can see I have king 10 offsuit. Oh wow doesn't scan his other card, but Wes has jack 9 offsuit. Pretty great spot for me, unless Oh Wow has ace 10, which is maybe unlikely, but definitely a possibility. And we see a low board, which comes 7-4-4 with 2 spades. Now, usually in multi-way pots, you're going to want to be doing a lot of checking. That being said, when opponents' ranges are very wide, I don't really expect them to be calling me with anything here unless they had a 4, and not too many 4s are in the opponent's ranges, except for ace 4 offsuit, but that would only be ace 4 of clubs and ace 4 of diamonds. Maybe they could have 4-5. And then other hands that revolve around the 7, maybe even a hand like 5-6. So yeah, not many hands that they can call here. So I decide to go for a c-bet into the field. I decide to go small. I don't want to go too large. I just want to see where I'm at. And minimum defense frequency would say they have to defend here a pretty good portion of the time. Both of them do find the fold though. So I'm going to take down $1,000 with my king high bluff. Although it doesn't appear it was a bluff because I actually had the best hand in the moment. All right, this next hand is a fun one and just kind of shows that I've been putting on some work off the table with my coach Alvin. Shout out to you if you're watching. Jerry decides to raise it up to $75 in the cutoff, and I'm in the small blind and I'm going to come in for a 3-bet. Pretty standard, and at this point in the night, I definitely know that Jerry is up to some shenanigans. So when he makes it $75, I decide to make the 3-bet up to $250, and he puts in the call, leading us off to a flop, which comes ace king 7 with 2 clubs. Pretty great board for both of us. I have the flush draw, and Jerry has top pair with a mediocre kicker. Out of position against him, I'm going to represent all the strong hands in my range, and I decide to bet out into the $530 pot to the tune of $250. Around half the size of the pot. Obviously, Jerry has an ace. He has a pretty no-brainer call. And when he puts it in, we pick up more outs. The jack of diamonds on the turn gives me all the 10 outs. I don't have 10 outs. I actually have 9. What I mean, though, is any of the 10s will now give me a straight, aka Broadway. Now, here's the thing. When he doesn't 4-bet me preflop, I don't think he's going to have kings, aces, ace-king, or jacks. I think a player of his caliber will definitely 4-bet me with those hands. So what does that mean? I think he's going to have a lot of weak aces like he does. Maybe a hand like king, queen, queen, jack. Maybe some other pocket pairs that didn't want to give up on the flop. In this moment, I have queen high. Yes, I have a lot of outs. Any club, any 10 would give me the best hand. But on an ace, king, jack, 7 board, I'm definitely going to have the range advantage as the pre-flop 3-better. So I need to go large and start piling money in and try to get him to fold some of these hands like ace 4 of diamonds. 1.2k into the $1,000 pot. Look at that. I'm getting spicy here. I overbet the pot, knowing that I'm the only player that can exclusively have kings, aces, and jacks is a little bit more mixed, but definitely aces and kings is all on my side. What does that mean? When all the money goes in, I'm going to be the player that has the goods the most of the time. So 1.2k is the price of poker, and you can see that it puts him in a tough spot. After counting out 1,200 and almost sticking it in the middle, he decides to fold, giving up 70% equity, aka around $1,500 or $1,600 in that pot. Should have been going over to Jerry in the long run. Instead, $0 is going over to him, and $2,300 is coming over to me. I take a little short for the TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Reels. I'm pretty stoked in the way I played that hand. All right, this next hand is the second best hand of the night. The best one is still coming up, but this one's pretty great. Wes is in the $40 straddle with pocket deuces. Action folds around to me, and I am in the $10 blind. When the action folds around to me, I'm going to have a pretty wide range here from the $10 blinds, so I decide to raise it up to $160, and Wes decides to put in the call, leading us off to a flop which comes king 4-3. Now, the majority of the time, I'm going to have a lot of the strong kings when he doesn't decide to 3-bet me, so I should just be going for like a $150 to $200 bet here. Instead, I decide to mix it up a little bit and start with a check. Given the fact that any deuce will give me a straight, any ace will give me top pair, I decided to mix it up a little bit, but definitely in the long run, I'm going to want to be betting this a large portion of the time. When I check it over to Wes, he decides to bet out here with his pocket deuces. Why? No, I'm not exactly too sure, but what I do know is that my ace high might be good in this spot when I play this hand a little bit weak, so I decide to call his $210 bet. We are off the turn, which gives me the best hand. It comes the 5 of hearts. Pretty great card because in case he has a hand like ace 7, ace 8, ace 9 that didn't decide to 3-bet me pre-flop, I now caught up and I made a pair. I'm not going to be leading out into him when he bets on the flop, so I check it over to Wes once again, and you can see he picks up an open-ended straight draw, so I don't expect him to slow down anytime soon. Just like I thought, into that $800 pot, he goes pretty chunky here and bets out for $575, putting me to the test. When I check call the flop and make a pair on the turn, I don't think I can be folding here. Still, it's $575, and I just have second pair. At this point, he's representing a king, so yeah, $575 seems like I'm torching it. At the same time, though, I didn't call the flop to get there on the turn and fold, so I got to put my money where my mouth is. If I think I'm good, got to put in the money, $575 into the middle. Just like that, we're playing a 2K pot off to the river.
The river we go, and bink the ace. Wow, Wes gets away with one here, and Wolfgang ends up with 2 pair.
Yikes, you heard the announcer there. That ace of hearts on the river is a disaster. It gives me 2 pair. I think that I'm good now, but of course Wes has the wheel. And like the announcer said, how could I ever put Wes on a deuce in this spot? Just pretty unlikely he'd play his hand like this, so shout out to him for playing pocket deuces in this way. And he's most likely going to get paid here. Now in the moment, I'm thinking about betting and leading out, given the fact I have 2 pair. If he has a hand like king queen, king jack, king 10, I want him to pay it off and not check behind. But something in me decided to check it over to him one more time. It's probably a good thing that I did, because if I bet out here for like $1,000, he's going to raise me to like $2.5, $3 grand, and I might have to pay it off. Instead, I check it over to Wes, and he postures for a little while in his astronaut hoodie there, and decides to bet out for $1,500. He's going blast off to the moon. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, nice size bet there, $1,500 into around $2 grand. At least he didn't make it $2,500 or $3K, putting me in a real tough spot, in which I'd probably still have to pay it off, to be honest. But at this point, what is he doing? Is he turning any of his hands into a bluff? Is he going for very thin value with a hand like king queen? Man, it's just a tough spot to be in, but when I river that 2 pair, I don't think I could be folding. It would take an expert level play to be doing that, and I decided to put in the call. 2 pair, no good. He shows me pocket deuces. I'm a little bit surprised to see it, so I asked the dealer to make sure that is a straight. I don't want to muck the winning hand here. Dealer confirms, I muck my hand, and that 5K pot is getting shipped over to Wes. Nice hand, sir. Dealer got the 80 straddle, 160, the most I've ever done, 320, 640 by this gentleman right here. All right, you guys saw that video. I put on the largest straddle of my life, $320, and prior to this hand, I decided to top up for an additional 2 grand. So the 320 is on. To my left, oh wow decides to put on the 640, and I have around 4.4K in my stack after topping up. What does that mean? When the action folds around to me, it's just between me and oh wow. I'm basically in the small blind, he's basically in the big blind. Pocket nines is definitely going to be a great hand to play. Now let's figure out how many blinds we have. What does that mean? I have 4.4K in my stack, and the effective big blind in here is $640, giving me around 7.5 big blinds in my stack. Pocket nines here in a tournament, if you have 7.5 big blinds, is an easy shove. So although it's a $4,500 rip all in, it's a pretty no-brainer. I have to do it 10 times out of 10. He could have any two cards, and a pocket pair is definitely going to be good in this spot a large portion of the time. I rip it all in. Oh wow, does not think about it for too long with a Queen-8 offsuit and puts in the call. We are in an absolutely great spot to win a 10K pot. But in the moment, I decided to turn over a 9. He turns over an 8. And at this point, I'm thinking it's 9s versus 8s, right? When we're off to a flop and there's an 8 on the board, my heart sinks. How did he just spike an 8? He has a set for sure. The turn card comes a 4 of diamonds. River comes a 5 of clubs. I turn over the 9s, and surprisingly, he takes a while before peeling his other card. And it's not a good one. He mucks his hand. We are taking down that 9.8K pot to finally get us back in the right direction. We are up a few $1,000s on the night. And yeah, I put that 320 on, which was the largest straddle of my life. I immediately get rewarded with pocket nines. Shout out to Oh Wow for the action there at the Queen-8 offsuit. What a guy. You are invited to any other live stream I play in the future. And we are taking down that 9.8K pot. And a few more hands went by after that, but we rack up our chips and head over to the cage, exchanging them for some cold hard cash. Alright you guys, that wraps up a sick, what should have been a 5-10 game, but we're not complaining. The 80, 160, 320, and even 640 got put on. I got into that game for 5, topped up for an additional 2. At the end, we cashed out for $94.50, a profit of $24.50, and I'll take it. If only that one hand with Wes wouldn't have given me 2 pair on the river, would have been up heaps, but we'll take the profit. And tomorrow is the meetup game, so if you guys are from Houston, make sure you guys come out to that. But at this point, it's over and the video's already out, but subscribe if you want to see what happened at that meetup game tomorrow. Good luck on the felt, you guys. The channel, the vibes, everything is just going in an upward trajectory. I'm really stoked to be here in Texas. Rent got too expensive, had to leave LA. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.